Let's get started making that grilled steak. First, we'll go back to our touch screen back here. After the process was finished and we pulled the last tray out, because they're all set on different timers, the oven kept cooking at the same temperature. So to get out of that, we just have to push stop. That'll stop the program, and that brings back our counterclockwise arrow to bring us back to the previous screen. I've already loaded in the grilled steak cooking parameters, so we can just push the button. Our program comes up with our temperature, our probe cook temperature, and our humidity already set. For this process, we have the humidity set all the way down to 0 because we want the grilled exterior. We're going to remove any additional moisture from the cabinet. We'll push start on that, and the unit will begin heating up to the temperature that it needs to be to cook the steak. It's important to note that I've used pre-programmed items for all of our demonstrations today. Those can be set by you or by us. We can work with you to develop your menu and work with what you're already cooking and get your programs all set up for you so that your buttons will be preset in the favorites menu as well. We have the steak in the refrigerator waiting to be cooked, so we can pull that out now. Whenever you're cooking a protein, we want to leave it in the fridge right up until it's ready to cook. I've already seasoned this one. I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to each side to help with our make sure we don't stick here, and also help with the browning. That was enough for both, so we'll just use it on both of them here. Spread that around on there. Our oven was already at 375 degrees, so it won't take long at all for it to reach the 433 degree set temperature. Another item of note, actually, that I mentioned, the 433 degree set temperature. If you were to look at the screen right now, you'll notice it says that the temperature is set for 491 degrees. The reason that does that is we overshoot the temperature, so that heat loss that occurs when we open the door to load the product brings it down back to our cooking temperature that we want. So when the door is opened, we're not dropping below our cooking temperature and then having to recover and not cooking just like we wanted to each time. While we're waiting for it to heat, we're just going to put our grill plate into the oven so it can preheat. So that that's the same temperature as the oven when we put the steaks in. Putting the grate in beforehand to preheat will make sure we get those nice grill marks on the steak when it comes out, because everybody loves the grill marks you get when you cook it on a physical grill outside. The grate I'm using today is just a cast iron grilling grate. Works wonderfully for my demonstrations. For cooking in a restaurant, you're going to want to get a full grate that fits in there, and our Flexi Rack system also allows for a grilling grate that you can buy that will go in your oven. It preheats with everything else, and then you can put your steaks directly onto that. That'll allow you to cook a lot more volume. With our small grate that we're using today, it works well for cooking the 2 steaks that we're going to cook, and maybe even up to 4. The way this cooking program is set up is it's going to probe cook the steaks to an internal temperature of 118 degrees. That's a medium rare temperature. So when we put the steaks on the grate, I'm just going to insert our temperature probe into the larger of the 2 steaks and close the door, and it will cook them to that temperature. And the reason we choose the largest, there's not a lot of size difference, but we want to make sure that we're getting to that perfect temperature on the biggest piece so we're not serving undercooked meat. Put on a heat protective glove. All right, we've got them loaded in. We put our temp probe in place. The unit's going to remind us to put the temp probe in so we don't forget. I can push the check mark and it'll begin cooking. It shows on here that we're cooking at convection at 433 degrees, and it's going to cook to a set temperature of 118. Once the 4 sensors in the temp probe have a chance to calibrate and determine which one is the lowest point, we'll have an actual temperature where you see dashed lines right now to show you where that steak is at in its cooking process. At 433 degrees, it won't take too long to cook these 2 steaks. All right, the alarm is going off telling us that the internal temperature of our steak has reached 118 degrees, so we can go ahead and pull that out. And there we have are grilled steaks with the beautiful grill marks on them. Those came out at 118. They'll rest to about 123 or 125, and we should cut open a very nice medium rare steak in about 10 minutes.